Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was the reincarnation of Ban the Fox of Greed movie. Before we start, please go support some Texas 2 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Issei is despised by everyone and discovers that he was the reincarnation of Ban the Fox of the 7 Deadly Sins. Chapter 1, The Beginning. Hello, my name is Hyodo Issei. I am 16 years old. I am in my first year of high school, and right now I am lying on the floor covered in my own blood. You may wonder why I am like this. Well, I will tell you. When I was born, my parents took care of me along with my sister. Her name was Rin, my mother was Jaime, and my father was called Shin. We were very happy, but happiness doesn't last forever. My sister showed that she was more intelligent and talented in many things. But I was the opposite. I got bad grades and was terrible at almost everything except the art of cooking, which is where my talent stood out. But my sister was already getting more attention, and I was left alone and without attention. I tried to get her attention by raising my grades, and it worked, but it was not what I expected. My mother continued to give her more attention, and my father always pampered her. Already when I was 12 years old, my sister always humiliated me with her friends. They even hit me, and she just looked at me with a satisfied smile while she watched me being beaten by her friends. I tried to tell my parents, but they just ignored me, and every time I tried to tell them, my sister would cover my mouth, and then they would beat me again, and after that my sister would tell me, "Rin, if you come back trying to say something, it will be worse." He is walking away like this while I was lying on the ground holding my stomach. But when I entered high school, in high school it was much worse because everyone in my class despised me because of what my sister told them. I no longer trusted anyone. I only trusted myself, and worse, when my parents found out that I failed some subjects. I expected support and understanding, but they hit me until I was scarred, and they didn't give me food for a month. So I learned to steal and walk the streets, earning myself the nickname of the Qua Bandit. Until he arrived. He was a new student with silver hair and eyes of the same color. His name was Vala. He earned my trust and defended me from the groups that bothered me. He made everyone in my class understand not to judge a book by its cover but to get to know it better. But as I said, happiness doesn't last forever. He left in the last year of high school, and before he left he told me that he would come back in about 2 years and that he would enter Qua High School. I was happy because I would enter that academy next year. But nothing changed in Qua High School since my sister was one of the most popular girls in the academy and turned almost the entire high school against me. But I was killed by my first girlfriend, and I was reincarnated by Rias, one of the most beautiful girls in Qua Academy, and I fell in love with her. I trained with a guy named Azazel and my high school friend Vala, who I considered the brother I never had, and I told him that I was in love with Rias, but I didn't have enough courage to tell him. This gave me support on how to confess to Rias. But one day they called my sister since she had the boosted gear, and using 4 pawns to reincarnate her, I had the other 4 pawns, so she got upset since she would be with me. But one day a person not very desired by Rias arrived, who was Racer Phonix. Sorry, I don't know how to spell it. He was Rias' fiancé. So they challenged us to a rattan game. I don't know how to spell it, so that she would marry the boy she wanted. I took it very seriously, so at night I went with Azazel and Vala so they could give me more effective training. And it worked. I had the power of a high-class demon, and I activated several spells that were very powerful and were called Insane Hunter, Hunter's Feast, Silent Death, Fox Hunt, Signal Zero. My magic was Rapture. It was a magic that did not exist thousands of years ago. But before leaving, Azazel stopped me and gave me a very strange thing that looked like a nunchakus, so then I went to the academy since I was going to start the rattan game. To whom it happened almost like the original story until the end, when I will tell you how it ends. Only Issei, Asia and Rias were left. Racer was going to throw a big fireball, but something that Racer didn't expect was announced, and he laughed. On the board it was shown that Racer's queen had been defeated by Issei. This surprised Rias, as she never thought that Issei could beat the Reina of Racer. Racer was going to throw the fireball, but a voice was heard that they recognized. Issei, Hunter's Feast. Everyone saw how the great ball of fire disappeared and Racer fell to his knees and Issei began to increase his musculature and took out a weapon that no one recognized, but Lucifer recognized it instantly. In the stands. Searches, but what the hell, where did this guy get that weapon? He said it very seriously and getting up from his seat abruptly. On the battlefield. Rias, but it surpassed the power of a high-class devil. But Issei lunged at Racer, giving him a big kick in the ribs and feeling them break. Issei, get up, fried chicken. No, you were very strong, come on, get up. Racer, hearing that, lunged at Issei but was greeted by a strong blow from Issei, who began to give him the beating of his life until Issei heard something that made him stop. Racer, I give up, you say this weakly, since his flames were not fast enough to heal the wounds that the brown-haired boy inflicted on him. Everyone heard that and started celebrating. Rias, Issei, she said it in a whisper. He turned around and saw Rias with a smile. Issei laughs, falling unconscious. Everyone was surprised to see the condition of the chestnut tree, as it was seriously injured on the left side of its neck. Searches went down and tried to hold the weapon that the brown-haired boy had, but it was very heavy for him, to the point of using his Mao powers to lift it, but he couldn't. The Mao couldn't believe what was happening. He couldn't lift the weapon. It seemed that only the brown-haired boy could lift it. So he left, and Rias's entourage took Issei with him. It had been 1 day since Issei had won the Ratten game. Rias's entourage thought he would wake up in a week, so they would let him rest, but what they didn't count on was that he would only need 1 night to recover all his strength. This is what a chestnut tree looks like waking up because of the sun's rays hitting its face. He looked at his watch and saw that he was late for the academy, so he changed into his academy uniform and left. Upon arriving, he was greeted by a look of astonishment from everyone because he had a large scar on his left side. Imagine him with brown hair. He didn't give it much importance and went to his classroom, but when he arrived he saw that Asia wasn't there, which seemed strange to him, but he was going to look for her at the club later. It was already past time for classes to ring the bell for the daily start of recess. This one came out quickly and went straight to the club. As he was about to enter, he made a magic circle from which he took out a bag containing many boxes that seemed very expensive. But he opened the door to the main room of the occult club and saw something that broke his heart. She saw them all kissing different boys. He shed tears and left quietly, leaving the bag in a corner of a very old room with several screens and leaving. He arrived at the student council and was greeted by Tsubaki. Tsubaki, what's wrong, Hyodo? As he said in a serious voice. Issei, she's not quiet. Tsubaki, no, because the question was said in a serious voice. Issei, why did I come to inform you that I'm leaving for today? Tsubaki, it was just that. Okay, I'll go away. I'll tell Sona later, but she saw that Issei had a sad face. Tsubaki, it's okay, Issei. I see you're down. Issei, it's nothing. Tsubaki said this with a forced smile. This one just leaves. But in the council. Tsubaki, what happened to him for him to be like this? He said it with curiosity. But at that moment, Sona is arriving. Sona, hey Tsubaki, why did Hyodo come to the council with a serious voice? Tsubaki, he came to say that he was leaving for today, but I saw that he was very down. Sona, yes, I noticed, but he always has a smile. It's strange that he has a sad face. Chapter 2, You Are My Reincarnation. With Issei. Issei, because what did I do to deserve this? He said this while hitting the floor with tears. That day he went to a hotel because he didn't want to see anyone. This is how I spent the night. In the occult club. Rias, hey girls, do you think this is exactly what we're doing to Issei? She said it worriedly. Akeno, he won't understand, besides he's just your pawn. Kaneko, I don't think he'll be upset. Asia, besides their friendship is very strong, I don't think it would bother him. Rin, he's just an annoying guy. Rias, well, tomorrow we will explain everything to Issei. So the whole day went by and Issei didn't show up at the academy, something that was very rare for him since he always went to the academy. But the girls went home early as they had a date with their boyfriends today. It was already 6:10 and the girls were in the park waiting for their boyfriends when suddenly they heard some voices behind some bushes. The girls recognized those voices instantly. So they peeked in to see their boyfriends making out with other girls. Rias, Ken, what are you doing with tears in his eyes? Kaneko, Diego, why with? Akeno, David, I thought you loved me. Asia, Shin. Rin, Rick, you bucking bastard. All the girls' boyfriends broke away from the kiss. Ken, I can explain. Diego, this is not what it seems. David, it's not what you think. Shin, that's not it. Rick, Rin, I can explain it. But they were greeted with a slap from the girls. All the Gremry, explain that, they were unfaithful to us, they are bucking idiots, I wish we had never met them. That's how you're leaving. Arriving at the Hyodo house, they all went up to Rin's room to let off steam, but something came to Rias's mind and an image of Issei formed. She quickly went to the chestnut's room and was surprised to see that there was no one there, but she saw a note on the bed. Rias took the note and began to read it, and the note said, "Hello girls, sorry for not letting you know, but I'm already recovering so I'm going to the academy." That note was from yesterday, so he assumed that she didn't come to his house yesterday. A week later. The girls were looking for the brown-haired boy since he hadn't come home for a whole week, and they looked worried so they searched for him like crazy. With Issei. He was walking down the street near an abandoned factory and heard screams inside, so he went to see, seeing how 10 renegade demons were asking the subject that Issei recognized since he had contracts with him. Demon 1, tell us where Rias Gremry is. Demon 2, tell us or we will kill you. He said, I will never tell you anything, you cheap, damn demons. Demon 3, then he dies. Thus sticking a piece of metal into his chest. Issei, hey you guys. The demons turned to see that it was a human. Demon 4, what do you want, damn human? Issei, that in the name of the Gremry family they must die. Demon 5, so you are a servant of the Gremry family. Demon 6, which piece are we facing, bishop, knight or rook, because it will be a pleasure to kill you. Issei, they face their pawn. Demon 7, what a pity, and I wanted it to be a woman, but I will enjoy torturing you. Issei, we'll see about that. So Issei launches himself with his nunchakus and gives the first demon a series of blows that leave him stunned, but a demon takes advantage and hits the brown-haired boy in the stomach, and another demon who is bigger comes forward and says, Demon 10, ha, you don't know who we are. Issei, that's what I care about. He said this while getting up with a little blood coming out of his mouth. Demon 10, ha, well you should, since we are the most powerful renegade demons. Issei, I don't care, I have to protect Rias since she is my master. Demon 10, you're just a petty demon who could do anything to us. Issei, don't tell me something insignificant again. Hunter's Feast. This one had been launched with impressive speed, still hitting the first demon, even though it was passing through it. Demon 10, what the buck, who the hell are you? Issei, I am Rias Gremry's pawn. Demon 10, it can't be, you're just a simple pawn since you have so much power. Issei, that's none of your business. So this one launches himself, and so do all the demons. Issei had many wounds all over his body and was breathing heavily, while the 8 corpses of renegade demons were seen. Demon 7, damn you, you'll pay for this. He was going to give Issei a powerful attack, but he pierced him with his weapon. Issei, they are some studies, with his entire face covered with his own blood. But they put a steel pipe through his chest. Demon 10, haha, damn, I think it's checkmate. He said this agitated and bleeding from very deep cuts on his chest, arms and legs. Issei falls to the ground with a large hole in his chest. At the occult club. All the girls had a pain in their chest, something they themselves did not understand. Back with Issei. Issei's thoughts. Forgive me, Madam President, for failing you as a pawn. So he sees how the renegade demon leaves the factory with great difficulty, and he closes his eyes. Issei's subconscious. Issei, I think this is what they call death. You are not in your subconscious. Issei, who said that, putting himself in a fighting pose with a serious voice. Calm down, brat, I'm not going to do anything to you, don't worry. Issei sees how a man with blue-gray hair with crimson eyes and about 2 meters tall appears dressed in a red trench coat and black pants, and he looked at him with a face as if he didn't care. Issei, what do you want from me? Ban, hello, let me introduce myself. I am Ban, one of the 7 deadly sins. I am the sin of greed. Nice to meet you, and you are my reincarnation. Chapter 3, Reincarnation. Issei space. Issei, what? Ban, you are very loud. Issei, but I'm like your reincarnation. Ban, I'd better tell you from the beginning. Ban, it all started 20,000 years ago. So he told him about the 7 deadly sins until the defeat of the Demon King. Issei, but what does that have to do with me being your reincarnation? Ban, the truth is it has nothing to do with it. I just wanted to tell you since I'm bored. I said this nonchalantly. A large drop formed on the back of Issei's neck. Issei, then let me die in peace. Ban, why do you want to die? Issei, I have nothing to do anymore, nor anything to protect, and he lowered his head. Ban, you know why I chose you? Issei just looks up. Ban, you're like me when I was little. To my parents I was just a nuisance or a burden. I thought the same as you. It was just that this world was disgusting. But you know what I learned is that when the world throws you down you get up and keep walking no matter what happens, and that's why I proposed something to you. Issei was just paying attention to the situation. Ban, I'll give you another chance. Issei, but why? Ban, you have to find that out for yourself and accept it. Issei, I accept. Ban, here, take this, thus handing him a glass with a pink liquid. Issei, what is this? Ban, baby la. Issei drank from the cup and didn't feel any change. Issei, that was. Ban, it is the source of eternal life. With it you cannot die. Issei, what and why did you give it to me? Ban, I told you no, that I would give you a new chance, thus putting his hand on Issei's shoulder. Don't make the mistakes that I made. Issei, what are you talking about? Ban, I made the mistake of not giving a chance to a girl who helped me. So if there is a girl who likes you, give her a chance. But it's time for me to go. Ban, go and look for the reincarnation of my companions. They are surely in ancient Britain. And saying that, Ban enters Issei's body. Out of Issei's mind. Issei was waking up, but he saw how his wounds were healing quickly. Issei, now what are you doing? I'm going to look for the reincarnations of Meliodas, Ascanor, King, Merlin, Diane Gowder. Issei, but first I have to do something. This one was creating a clone identical to him, with his same essence, and he buries the tube that the renegade demon buried in him. But what he didn't notice was that his hair was changing to a blue-gray, and his eyes to a crimson color. Issei, well now yes, I have to go. So he is walking through the factory seeing all the renegade demons that he killed, but he sees a red trench coat similar to the one Ban had seen Qua City, thus disappearing into the dark night. 1 hour after what happened, Qua Academy. Rias, okay girls, let's go find Issei. Akeno, hey president, why don't you look for Issei with the pawn pieces? Rias, why it didn't happen? So it is looking for the direction of the pawn pieces. Rias, I already found it. Asia, seriously, President. Rias, yes, let's go girls with a happy voice. This is how you make a magic circle. Abandoned Qua Factory, 10:09 p.m. Outside the factory there was a magic circle where all the girls from the occult club came out. Asia, Issei-san is here, but why in such a dark place? Said the nun with fear. Kaneko, Rias-senpai, I have a bad feeling. Rias, don't worry Kaneko, and turn on your flashlights. So they opened the doors and turned on their flashlights, since most of them couldn't see well when they were looking for Issei. But what they saw would leave them with temporary trauma. They saw 9 renegade demons and 2 mysterious men who were dead. Akeno, who did this? Asia, Bucho, I'm scared. Rin, but what? Kaneko, Bucho? Rias didn't answer as she was left with one thought: where is my Issei? Akeno, Rias reacts. She is holding her fingers while taking her by the shoulders and shaking her. Rias came out of shock and screamed. Rias, Issei. Kaneko, Bucho, there is a trace of blood, maybe it is Issei. They all quickly followed the trail of blood, and what they saw was a renegade demon in serious condition, lying against a wall. Rias, identify yourself, renegade demon. She said this in an authoritative voice. Demon 10, look who we have here, Harry, a Gremry heiress of the Gremry clan, but you arrived late, he is already dead. Rias, what are you talking about, who is dead? Demon 10, I'm talking about your pawn Issei Hyodo. Rias, no Issei, you know Issei. She said it with a lost look and fell to her knees. Demon 10, but at least I'll leave knowing that I killed the most powerful pawn in all of demonic history, ha 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 ha. Akeno, you bastard, why did you do it? She said this with tears coming out of her eyes. Demon 10, ha ha ha, he got in the way of my plans to kill Rias Gremry, to start a new war, but he got in the way saying that he would defend Rias Gremry at all costs. The truth is I admire the boy, since he did not give up and killed my companions, but what a pity that he could not confess his feelings to you, ha ha ha. Asia, what are you talking about? In a tearful voice. Demon 10, ha ha ha, I saw his feelings and I saw that he had a great love for you and more towards you Gremry, but it's a shame that you fell in love with some pathetic and weak humans that are not worth it, ha ha ha. Rias, in a fit of rage, creates a power of destruction and throws it at the scattered demon, exterminating it completely. Rias, Issei. She said it, shedding tears and falling to her knees. Chapter 4, Issei's Hidden Secrets Revealed. Rias, after killing the renegade demon, they entered the abandoned factory, and there they saw Issei completely wounded and with an iron pipe in his chest. They couldn't hold it in any longer and started crying, all hugging him. So an hour passed until a communication circle appeared to Rias. Searches, I want you to bring your nobility and especially Issei. Rias began to cry upon hearing Issei's name. Searches, is something wrong, Rias? Rias, no Oni-sama, it's okay. Searches, then come with your nobility quickly, the Mao commanded with a voice of authority. Rias had no choice but to go alone, since the girls were too hurt to go. So he's grabbing a teleportation magic circle and disappearing. Gremry Castle, 11:30. Rias had arrived at her parents' house, noticing that all the lights were off, but suddenly. Surprise! The voices of his parents, the Mao and all the high-class devils, who were there, in total the 32 pillars of the underworld were there. Welcome Issei, Rias Gremry's new fiancé. Rias was in shock. But all the pillars and Maos saw how Rias fell to the ground with tears in her eyes, covering her face with her hands. That's where Xerxes comes in. Xerxes, laugh, what's happening? Why are you crying and where is your nobility? The Mao asked doubtfully. Rias doesn't answer and snaps her fingers, a magic circle appearing where her nobility and a very bloody body come out. Everyone had many doubts and questions to ask. But Rias went to the body and began to hug it and cry inconsolably. Everyone looked with confusion at what was happening since Rias was hugging the body along with her nobility, and apart from the fact that it seemed familiar to them, what stood out was the hole in her chest. The Mao Lucifer approached with doubt and confusion. Until the Mao saw him, he was Hyodo Issei, he was dead there. They all approached seeing the same thing, horrified by what they saw. Since this one was covered in blood and wounds everywhere. Xerxes, but what happened to him? Rias tells him what happened before they arrived, how he killed 9 high-ranking renegade demons alone and left the last one wounded, but she finished off the last one. But unfortunately they arrived late, he finished and then burst into tears. They all, without fail, had a touch of wonder. Xerxes, but what are they? Could you show me, please? He took him and the 4 Maos to where the demons were, and they were more than amazed. Seraphal, it can't be serious, I'm done with them. Ajuka, it can't be, given how he was able to finish them off, his equivalent of these 10 is equal to that of Xerxes in power or even more. Rias, Oni-sama, you know them. Searches, that is what they called themselves, the Roars of Dawn, renegade demons of equal or greater power than mine. They were the ones who killed the heirs of the demonic houses. Rias could not believe what her brother was saying, so her pawn protected her from a threat that he knew she would not win. Now she understood. She loved her chestnut, and he wanted to prove it, but she knew that it could not be that he would spend his whole life with her, because he had died. Or so people thought, but she knew he was alive and would wait for him. Asmodeus, Xerxes, and now what? Xerxes just stares at the sky and says something that surprises the four mouths. Xerxes, I declare Hyodo Issei as the hero of the underworld and the demonic houses, he said with a calm and determined voice. Asmodeus, are you sure, Xerxes? Xerxes, I have not been more sure of this. He killed the demons without asking for anything in return. He did it to protect his mistress, and besides, they were not ordinary demons. They were demons that we have been looking for a long time, and that have killed several heirs of houses, and they know very well that we almost have no demons in our faction, and he stopped that. I leave it to the other three mouths without a doubt. They said the same thing as the mouth. After saying this, they went together to the castle. Upon arriving, they said that Issei was now the hero of the houses and of the underworld, which is why the houses could not have agreed more. With that, Xerxes proposed to Rias that they would bury him in the most honorable way possible. He rejected that, and said that it would be better to have him in a coffin in the Gremry castle in a special room where the body would not wear out and smell bad. The Mao accepted, and Rias told him that if he could notify Issei's parents. And so the entire Gremry entourage left for the occult club. When they arrived, just to have fun, they had to clean the club because it was very dirty. The girls kept cleaning until Risa opened a room which had some screens, and it was obvious that it had not been cleaned for months. She started cleaning until all the girls came in and saw Rias cleaning it. This happened until they finished and they sat in the chairs that were there. Rias was thoughtful and couldn't stop thinking about Issei. Because of this, she saw a button on the table where the screens were, and she got curious and turned on the screens and began to see that they were security cameras. On the other hand, an albino girl saw a battered and dusty bag and decided to throw it in the trash. On the other hand, Rias was watching the recordings, and when she was going to turn it off, she heard something quiet in a recording of when they were with their boyfriends in those days, and she saw her Issei kneeling there with a bag at his side. He was crying with a lost look. He was like that for 10 minutes, and he went to the room they are in now and put that bag. And Kaneko was about to throw the bag, but was stopped by Rias. Rias, Kaneko, wait, she said, going with Kaneko. He takes the bag and takes something out of it. It was a small box that said, for Rias. He looked and saw more boxes that said, for Asia, Kaneko, Akeno, and Rin. He gave them the boxes and told them that Issei was going to give them to them a week ago, but he saw them kissing their boyfriends and couldn't take it. They lowered their heads looking at the boxes. Rias, girls, how about we open it? They said yes. The first to open it was Rias, and she saw a pure gold necklace with a red diamond in the center. But it contained a message in the box. To my beautiful crimson princess of the ruins, red as the blood that I remembered running through my veins and as beautiful as the skies themselves, that is you, Rias Gremry. I had no words, I had no way to express it, and unconsciously I was shedding tears. Then it was Asia, who took out a gold necklace with an emerald heart in the center, and also had a message. For Asia, my beautiful and tender Asia, your hair is like the shining sun and your eyes emanate purity. I would like to possess that face to admire it and kiss it. She could not take it any more and burst into tears. Kaneko opened it and saw a silver necklace with a sapphire, and it had a message. For Kaneko, you are like a cat, shy, tender, insecure, and serious, but I still love you, and how I wish you were my property to pamper and spoil you. She just had tears in her eyes. Akeno was next, and from her box she took out a gold necklace with a heart-shaped diamond in it, and it also had a message. For Akeno, you were like a wounded bird. You want to fly but you can't. You want that wound to heal but you don't let it, and that's why I will help you and heal you so you can fly freely again. I love you, my senpai. She was the same as Rias. She had only one thought, and that is what I did. Rin had also been left his box and was about to open it. Chapter 5, Issei's Secrets Revealed, Part 2. Rin was opening the box that her brother was going to give her. She opens it and sees that it is a necklace with dragons forming a heart and a white diamond in the center. This one had a message too, and without further ado he began to read. Note: you are like ice, you are cold with all the people around you, but kind to everyone, and that makes you special. No matter how you treat me, I will always love you and take care of you, because you are my Wani-chan. Rin couldn't take it anymore. She hated herself. She couldn't take it anymore, and she wanted to shout it from the rooftops. She loves her brother, not like a normal sibling relationship, but she wanted him as her partner, the one who gives her children, who wakes up every morning in her bed. She wanted that person to be her brother. I know they will call me sick, but the truth is they are demons. As Rias said, demons live the way they want. When she finished reading the letter, she couldn't take it anymore and burst into tears. Rin, I'm stupid, she said, hitting her head with her hands. Asia, don't say that, Rin-san, you are intelligent and loving, and she was interrupted by Rin. Rin, you know it's not because of that. You yourself know why. I hit him, mistreated him and insulted him, she said with sadness in her voice. He only wanted a family. But me and my parents denied it to him, she said, shedding tears with the other girls. But I didn't know that he was already starting a family, she said, surprised to the girls. Rias, how do you form a family? Rin, it wasn't much longer than a week ago that Aci and I discovered it when we were looking for him, she said, remembering everything that happened a week ago. Flashback. Rin and Asia are seen walking in the streets of some houses far from the city. Rin, do you think we'll find Issei here, Asia? Asia, I don't know, Rin-san. Then they see a boy playing with his sister in a very big house. They decide to ask the boy. Rin, hey brat, don't you know if a young man with brown hair passed by here? But she is ignored, making her upset. Asia, calm down, Rin-san. Hey young man, haven't you seen a young man with brown hair? Child, could you describe it to me, please? Said the child, who was about 11 years old. Asia, if he is tall, has brown hair, has a big muscle, and his name is Child Issei. Asia, yes, how did you know? Boy, he comes to sleep here from time to time, and he spends his time playing with us and helping us with our homework. The girls opened their eyes wide when they heard that. Where are my manners? My name is Shin. Nice to meet you. Shin, come in, he said so that I would open the patio door for them. They went in and saw that the house was very big, and inside it was a very luxurious mansion. They sat in the living room. Then a young girl of about 16 years old comes. Girl, they are the ones looking for Issei Oto-san. This surprised the girls because of how she called Issei. Girl, so you guys are looking for Issei-kun. Asia, is that right, miss? Rem, that's my name. Asia, if we look for it, Miss Rem, and from what I see, it's yours. The mansion isn't like that. Rem, you're not wrong, miss. Asia Argento, and the one next to me is Rin Hyodo. Rem, as I was telling you, this is not my house, it is Issei-kun's. He bought it to give these children and me a home. Asia, so, that's why the girl calls him Oto-san? Shin, no, I'll explain it to you, he said with a sigh. Look, me and my sister, he said so that his sister would come and hug him. We were abandoned by our parents when we were 9 and 4 years old. We walked the streets without food and dirty, he said, and then saw how the girl left. After that we decided to look in the trash for some food, and I got distracted for a moment, and my sister was taken away in a black van. I tried to catch up with them, but I couldn't, he said, shedding tears. I just watched as the van drove away. But then I saw that it overturned and he got in. It was Issei Oto-san who had my sister in his arms, and when she woke up she started calling him Issei Oto-san. Asia, and why do you call him that? Shin, because I consider him my father. He not only saved us, but also the others. Rin, others? Shin, yes. At that moment Shin's sister comes in and opens the doors, seeing no more and no less than 50 children and 2 newborns that Rem had in her arms. Shin/all, that's why we will always be grateful to Issei Oto/Ni-san. End of flashback. Rin, after that we spent some time with those sweeties. You don't know what a good job she did with those children, she said, to put her hands on her face and start crying more. Not only do they have manners, but they are also very smart, and they don't disrespect anyone. Rias, that's true Asia. Asia, yes Rias Wani-sama. Rias, and they don't need financial help or anything. Rin, no, they have money to spare. Issei left a large amount of money before he died. Rias, but where do I get so much money? Rin, I don't know, looking at his watch it's late, we have to go. Rias, yes. So they all left. The next day, the entire Hyodo family was seen having dinner, except for a chestnut tree. Then there's a knock on his front door. Knock knock. The one who opened it was Garu Hyodo, Issei's father. Garu, hello young man. Rias, good morning Mr. Garu. Garu, you're my daughter's friend, aren't you? Rias, we can go through. Garu, can we? Rias, if I brought my brother it's because we have to solve something that has to do with Issei. Issei's father, upon hearing that, thought he had done something wrong. Garu, yes, they came in and went to the living room. Garu, tell me what my son did. Searches, first of all, call your wife. Garu, honey, come here. This was where her husband was. Mickey, what happened? Garu, that idiot Issei did something to the young lady here. Mickey, now what did you do? He said, sitting on the couch. Searches, before that you believe in the supernatural. Mickey, in angels and demons, not why. Searches, why everything is true said Bill get 12 bat wings. So he told them everything supernatural. They were shocked to see that their daughter was a demon, but they took it well. Garu, and what does that have to do with our son? Searches, look, what I'm going to tell you is going to be very hard, he said, making them look at him strangely. Your son fell in battle. Chapter 6. The White and Funeral appear. In a house, the Mao Lucifer and the Gremry heiress could be seen in the Hyodo room. Searches, his son fell in battle. Garu and Mickey only had the echo in their heads. His son fell in battle. Mickey, it's a joke, right? Searches, I'm not playing, Mrs. Hyodo. Garu, it's not true, it can't be that my son is dead, he said with a broken voice and about to shed tears. Searches, his son only did what any pawn would do for his king. Mickey, and that's it? Searches, giving his life, but that doesn't mean we don't respect him. Mickey, so it was you, she said, pointing at Rias. You are the one responsible for my son being dead. You are more likely a spoiled girl who is given everything they want without reproach, right? She said. She is trying to throw herself at Rias, but was stopped by her husband and daughter. And why didn't you protect him? Why? Rias, you're wrong there, Mrs. Hyodo. I used to be a spoiled brat, I admit it, but Issei taught me to value things. I fell in love with your son blindly, and I swear that if he were here I would love him like never before. She said to see Mrs. Hyodo with tears in her eyes. Besides, you are not the one to speak ill of me, or you will tell me that you can remedy what you did to Issei. Garu, what are you talking about? Rias, they didn't even enter her room once or pay attention to her. Mickey, of course, after all he is our son. Rias, I wouldn't say that. If he is really your son, show me a photo of him. Mickey got up and went for the family album. When she opened it, she started looking for a photo of her son, but she couldn't find anything, just her and her husband and daughter together hanging out. There was nothing, there were no photos with her son. She only had one of when he was a baby, and there was nothing since then. She couldn't hold back her tears and started to cry. Rias, now go up to your room. Garu and Mickey went up and opened Issei's room, and what they saw was something that left them surprised. Because it was a room that had no paint, it had an old bed, as well as the sheets, and you could see that it had nothing more than a few clothes. There is nothing else. They came down with their eyes downcast and just sat on the couch. Rias, for you he was never a son, and you never treated him as such, she said, so that the Hyodo burst into tears. He told me. I always tried to get your attention, but everything I did bothered you. He only wanted a family, and I also denied it to him. You are not the only ones who suffer. If I had not agreed to be the girlfriend of someone so disgusting, he would be by my side right now, and she couldn't take it anymore and started to cry. Searches, calm down now, Rias, tomorrow is your son's funeral. It would be a great honor to present you with the highest rank medal. The next day, he asked to see the change of the wind in the underworld, as it had clouds as if it wanted to rain, something that has never happened in millions of years. You could see Rias and the girls in black dresses and very important people from the underworld in the Gremry castle. Issei's parents could only watch as their son was in the coffin dressed in a suit. Rin could be seen crying in a corner, but then Rin's arm began to hurt, a sign that something was wrong. Then he sees a silver-haired boy enter and go to his brother's coffin and begin to say goodbye to him. Drake, be careful, partner. Rin, why? Drake, he is the target. Then she became serious about what her partner said. He saw how her eyes glazed over and he left. She followed him. Out now. Drake, you ignore me, White. Albion, not the best moment for Red. Rin, what did they come to do at my brother's funeral? Vala, now he's your brother, right? Rin, what? Valley, now he is your brother, since he is already dead. If he were alive, I assure you that you would not call him that. Rin, how dare you say that? I wanted it. Valley, you didn't say that when he was alive, you just insulted and mistreated him. You don't even have the right to call him that. He just hung his head and said nothing. Valley, he was one of the purest people on the planet, and he only died for someone who doesn't deserve his love. It's ironic, good people die first before anything else, he said, so that he shed tears. He trained until his bones broke. He cried from helplessness, for not being strong, only to die. It started to rain. Rin was crying, because everything she said was true. Valley, but what was his phrase every time I told him why he did it? He answered me once. It doesn't matter if they hurt me, I will always protect them, he said with a broken voice and definitely crying. Rin, hearing that, could only feel more guilty. Valley, now I hope you rest in peace, my friend. Rin, how do you know all that? Valley, I was one of the people he trusted and kept his secrets. He was not a friend, a brother that I never had. You will never know how to see him strive for those he loved so much, even when he told me about that Rias Gremry and how he tried so hard to win that damn random game, but it's too late. I have to go, he said, to teleport in a magic circle. Then some sobs were heard and the other girls came out of their hiding places. They began to cry and laugh more when they found out what Issei did for her.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.